Hi, good morning. Welcome, both of you. Just to say, you may see it says this is being live streamed to Facebook. I have a very, very rock solid private group that no one can access, but I stream the sessions for people who miss them. Is that okay with you?
Yes.
You're good. Yeah, I don't want you to think this is going live to anyone. Yeah, it's a very, very like people, I have to let people in the group kind of Facebook thing. Okay. Hello. So you're both, neither of you have done anything with me before. Okay, we'll wait and see if anyone turns up, but I do these sessions just as a kind of intro to help people begin to get a sense of themselves. So Katie, big welcome to you. Would you just like to share what your interest is just a little bit and where you're at right now today in your body?
I'm feeling pretty good, quite good energy. I don't have any pain.
Okay.
I am intrigued to understand what you meant when you need to let go from your bones.
Okay.
And I'm intrigued as to what that means and how to do it.
Okay.
Because that really resonates, and I think that.
Okay. And you, just to say, can I share a tiny bit? Are you all right with that, Katie?
Yeah.
If I share a little bit where you're
Yeah.
coming from with that, and Joe, we'll get to you in a moment.
Yeah,
So
sure.
basically, Katie and I have been in a group of, is it 12 people?
11 of them.
And we've been connecting twice a day, every day, with an intention for each other. And every 3 days, we are focusing on one person. And what I'm finding is that I really connect with people. It's always been like this, but it's quite strange. So sometimes I get insights. Doesn't mean they're right or wrong. Who knows? They just literally, they are what show up. Yeah. And with Katie, what was coming through a lot was just, if you imagine you're in a cage, can I kind of share that kind of analogy? So you're in a cage and you have all this structure, yeah, of the metal around you in this cage. And the vision was to let go of that, almost like, or it could be scaffolding around a building. Does that make sense? And instead to feel the incredible support of your bones, which are your internal structures. Do you know what I mean? They are those firm structures. And actually, when we can feel and connect with those internally, we don't need that structure around us to keep us contained and safe and upright, because we've sourced it in our own body. Yeah, and that's really what my methodology is. It's very life-changing for people, because and I will give you you will get a taste of that today. I hope. Yeah,
Right.
it's very different what we do today, by the way. This is called Check Into Your Body, and it is literally a mindful, very excuse me, a mindful exploration of connecting with the sensation and movement of your bones and the support. It is not the realignment. Yeah, the methodology is the realignment. There are 6 postures that our bones are designed in our body to be able to access when we walk. So Katie, you're a kinesiologist, aren't you? Yeah, so I am as well. I have a foundation in systematic kinesiology. So if you think that all of these muscles, all these energy systems are kind of wrapped around the bones, do you know what I mean? In a way where here's Diana. In a way, I've got to a point where that's all a lot of noise. It's a lot of noise around the bones. Yeah, the bones are like, without the bones, there's nothing. There's nothing for any of that to attach to. Hi, Diana. Welcome.
Hi.
Joe and Katie are here for the first time, Diana. So I'm just like explaining a little bit. Joe, would you like to share why you're here? Yeah.
Okay, so I've got a lot of discomfort in my knees and increasingly I've got osteoarthritis. That's what's been diagnosed. I've got so used to the discomfort, but it's now in my, I'm very conscious of it in my bottom and my hips, and I'm just, yeah, I hate taking tablets. I deal with it by being as mobile as I can, doing as much exercise as I can, because that's what I feel is benefiting my body the most.
Yeah.
But I recognize that it's not enough.
Yeah.
And actually I bumped into Victoria on Saturday. It was quite weird. I walked into synagogue and there she was analysing one of our friends, the way that she was walking as I walked in to the reception area. And so we spent the next half an hour, 40 minutes, where she was just watching me walk, just saying, God, no wonder you're in discomfort. And that's how I'm on this group today, because it was like a gift. It feels like it was meant to be, that I need to address my discomfort stroke pain permanently and in a different way. And this feels like it might be a permanent solution, rather than, well, I mean, being physically active and doing good things for your body will always be in my life because I enjoy it. But I feel I need something more, what's the word? I don't know whether it's structure. Yeah, I need to reset my brain.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's had too many years doing the wrong thing in terms of the way my body moves. I'm very conscious of that.
Absolutely, for sure. Okay, well, we've got a couple of people here who can give you a quick a share in terms of, Diana, could you just share maybe a tiny bit about what you've got out of this process so far?
Yeah, of course. And apologies if there's noise, because my childminder hasn't arrived yet. So
yeah, of course,
the little one there.
Okay.
So yeah, for me, it's funny because when I entered Victoria's program, the initial intention was that I'm quite healthy, my body actually works fine. It was more to have a complete solution with the spiritual aspect, but also making sure that my body I wasn't effectively pushing against blockages in my body, that the breath was flowing, that my energy would be as free to flow as possible. So that was the initial intention, and just from that point of view, it's already been amazing. The additional benefit I've seen so far is it's revealed, emotionally linked blockages I didn't realize I had. And as I continue to sort of align better, I'm like releasing more little pockets of pain that is releasing or appearing, like a greater awareness, even day to day, as to how I walk, how I stand, how I sit, and what's that doing to my support, and even my wider support, as in how do I feel supported in life? If I'm not even supporting myself into how I'm standing properly, no wonder I'm feeling even more, at the whim of the elements, because I'm actually not standing rooted. So that's just been my two amazing benefits so far. And I haven't been in even that long. It's been maybe, 4 weeks. So it's just been amazing.
Hi, Giannia. Hello, welcome. Okay, I think I'm just going to get on because we don't have lots of time. Diana, can I just thank you, because that's a really articulate explanation, and obviously at other times we hear from other people in terms of, how this is. Giannia, welcome. So this morning, this is a more meditative, sorry, I can't turn my video on. It says video big start. I'm not sure. Okay, Malasula, well, you can hear us. Yeah, you're with us. Okay. Giannia, this morning isn't the biomechanic realignment. This is more of a meditative internal connection.
Yeah.
So Giannia has just started the VIP program. So you're in, yeah, how are you finding it? Just really quickly. We've got to be really quick so we can get on.
It's been really good. I think I kind of figured out that when I walk, even with the noticing the alignment and also the movement, things I was doing a bit incorrectly. I think I'm trying to actively correct some parts of that, which is really good.
Yeah.
And my back pain is a lot better, a lot better. You know, you told me what to do and it just helped. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's just amazing that I can walk without a stick, which is great.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, yeah, and that you're just on week 1. You know, the proof is in the pudding. I think we always need to see some results. That's amazing, Jahania. Okay, and you haven't been on one of these check-in sessions before, so this will be
No.
really lovely. Okay,
That's good. Thank
so
you.
can everyone in this group easily stand up? Are we all good for standing? Yeah, but sometimes we have people who find it difficult to stand, who've got MS or something like that, but I think we're all good today, so we can all be in the same process and just connect in. So this is a lovely small group and we're all in the same country, which is nice. Sometimes we have someone in another part of the world, so energetically it's a different time of day, but we are all on Monday morning and this is a new day, a new week, but your body is with you every single day when you wake up. And the moment you take a step forward, your bones and your joints are engaging and communicating and functioning without any like mental awareness from our brain, as is every other system in our body. So let's just come home to that. Let's just come home into our body. And I'd like you all to make sure that your feet are standing hip width apart. Now, for those new people, oh goodness, I'll tell you what, I'm going to take this backdrop off so you can easily see my feet. Bear with me. Right, is that better? Yeah, okay, so feet. Look at me, look what I'm wearing. Just to help, just to give a bit of encouragement about the bones. So my feet, if you look at me, yeah, and when I say hip width apart, I don't mean that. I mean immediately under, like where my feet connect into my pelvis. And I want my feet not to be turned out. I want my second toes, if possible, to be pointing to 12 o'clock, second toes, not big toes. If that is uncomfortable, then just go as near to 12 o'clock as you can. But we're just trying to orientate your bones, okay? And actually notice, is that natural for you or is that unusual? And it could be that one foot usually turns out, it could be that both of them turn out. Just notice in your body, is that a familiar sensation, having your feet hip width apart with your second toes pointing to 12 o'clock? Because the second toes are like the eyes of your feet. And we want your eyes on the horizon and your feet on the horizon when we walk. Yeah, this is how your structure is designed to be. Put the background back on now because I love it. Okay, so with that, I would invite you to shut your eyes and just come in. And I'd like you to notice first in your right foot, do you feel that you have more pressure in the front of the foot, the heel of the foot? Does it feel equal? Do you feel you have more pressure on the outside of the right foot or the inside of the right foot? And I want you to become aware of the fact that in your right foot, you have 26 extraordinary little bones. Some are smaller than others, but there's 26 bones in there. That's not just a foot covered in skin. That is an armory of support. And there are 33 joints in your right foot. So for a moment, I would like you to feel the relationship of your foot, allowing those 26 bones, 33 joints to just settle and spread, because the position we're in right now would encourage all of those bones to spread and support you. And as you do that, you might start to feel a little bit of tingling, a little bit of energy coming from that area of your body or not. It might feel very tight. It might feel kind of, what's she talking about, 26 bones? All I can feel is the block of my foot. And there is no wrong, there is no right, there is no judgment. There is simply what is present. And I will always encourage you to connect with the bones in the core of your body, underneath the skin, the connective tissue, the muscles, attachments. Inside there are your bones. And just really connecting with them and allowing yourself to drop into them. And now notice, after that exploration of your right foot, if you focus on your left foot, does it feel the same as the right foot or different? The left foot might still feel a little bit more drawn and a little bit more held. And then just again, bringing that awareness to the left foot. Do you feel you've got more weight in the front of the foot, the heel, the midfoot? And maybe just you could play with moving slightly, evening it out if it feels like it's stuck in one place. And then remembering literally that you have 26 bones in your left foot. Bones in your toes, bones inside the ball of your foot, bones in the arch of your foot, bones in your heel and your ankle. And it's actually a lack of movement in these bones that creates a flat foot or a high arch. And those conditions are very, very rarely a condition. They are simply that all those bones have forgotten that they have a potential for movement. So now we're not even really trying to move them, we're just bringing some attention into this environment in your left foot, allowing them to spread, allowing the 33 joints to let go, and really just feeling how your center of mass, how gravity, how everything can just sink down through these extraordinary mechanisms that support the weight of the rest of your body. So now I'd like to invite you to come back to your right lower leg. So you have this amazing big bone in your heel of your right foot, which is called your calcaneus. And then you have a bone called your talus bone, which is kind of at the front of the ankle. And connected around the talus bone, you have the lower heads of your tibia and your fibia bones in your right leg, which are your lower leg bones, these two bones. And your ankle is actually made up of the heads of these bones. And what I'd like you to do is just very gently bend your right knee, very gently, and then straighten the right knee. And maybe, just maybe, you can begin to feel the weight and the mechanics of those lower leg bones dropping towards your right foot. As you bend the knee, can you feel the connection? Because the knee is actually made up of the upper heads of the tibia and fibia bones. So really the lower leg is these bones dropping towards the foot. When you bend the knee, you can feel them moving. And then as you straighten the knee, can you feel the lower leg bones coming up and engage that knee? And then can you feel the support due to the movement of those bones coming up? And when you straighten that right knee, complete support in your upper leg and body on your right side. So now let's do that on your left side. So we have the calcaneus, which is the left heel bone, We have a beautiful bone called the talus, which is the front at the top of the left ankle. And then we have the bottom heads of the tibia and fibia bone connected to that area in your heel. And if you just bend your knee slightly, you can become aware of the upper heads of the tibia and fibia as they drop down towards the foot as you bend the knee, and then as you straighten the knee, that is actually the tibia and the fibia coming up to meet the femur bone, which is your thigh bone. So let's just stay with that in the left leg. So if you bend your left knee slightly and you feel in your ankle, the lower heads bending around the heel. And then as you straighten that left knee, can you feel the bones pushing up the left side of your body and connecting with that left thigh bone, your femur, which is the other bone that makes up your knee, apart from the little patella, which is a beautiful little coin-like bone in front of this area. So now I want you to come into the femur bone on the left-hand side of your body, and so you've got the head of it in your left knee, working with the tibia and the fibia. So all your knee is, you know, in terms of mechanics, it's those incredible bones, those structures. And when you fully engage that knee, you should feel a lovely connection of the top head of the bone coming up into your pelvis. So can you feel that upper head of your thigh bone? You bend your knee, your left knee. As you straighten the left knee, can you feel how it literally lifts up the left side of your pelvis? And when you bend the left knee, can you feel how it literally kind of pulls down the left side of your pelvis? And then as you straighten it, it lifts up. So now what you have is this beautiful structure of support of these bones coming up from the ground. Instead, what a lot of people have is a lot of holding around their pelvis, literally lifting their legs around. We are getting you, we are checking in, getting you to feel your internal support. So just a couple more bends and extensions of that left knee and feeling that connection with your pelvis and your hip. That's your hip joint in there, is where the upper head of your femur bone connects into your pelvis. So now let's return to the right leg and to the right thigh bone. Again, just allow the right knee to drop down slightly, and then as you straighten the right knee, can you feel how that thigh bone then just lifts your pelvis up a little bit? And then if you were to bend the right knee again, can you feel how your pelvis just naturally drops down on the right-hand side? It might feel a bit shaky, a bit wobbly if you haven't done this before. Just work with what feels safe and okay for you. And just notice how that bending of the knee, the femur head drops down, and then as the knee straightens, the top head of the femur literally supports your pelvis and sends it upwards. And now we could try to bend both knees, left and right, together just a little bit, not lots. And just notice, can you feel an internal sense? It's a very deep, very, very subtle sense of those femur bones slightly pulling your pelvis down. And then as you straighten those knees, femur bones, the heads at the top, just send your pelvis up again. And then just notice with your pelvis, keeping your knees now extended and straight, no bent knees, but not overextending. And just notice if this pelvic bone, give it a prod, anything to bring some sensation to your hips. And just notice, could you, without getting your muscles to lead the movement, could you very slightly just rock your pelvic bone backwards and forwards on top of your femur bones, the top heads. Now, this could be very, very advanced in terms of asking you to tune into it if you haven't worked with me before. So this is I'm just inviting you to experiment. Just a sense of, can your pelvis rock backwards and forwards on top of your femurs? Or is it a sense of, I don't know, I can't feel, this doesn't make sense? And if that's the case, please honor that. Because we dissociate from this area of our body for many reasons. Our nervous system in this area around the pelvis completely confused, literally, when we feel under threat, when we're scared, when we're overloaded. So bringing yourself back into your pelvis can actually create sensations that I really want you to listen to and just observe. All we're doing today is checking in, just checking into what is present. Continuing just to see, can you rock the pelvis backwards and forwards without tensing muscles? What happens when we naturally rock our joints or our pelvis backwards and forwards, you should feel a light, effortless engagement. So your tailbone, you rock your pelvis, send your tailbone under, you should feel an almost effortless engagement in your glutes, the muscles at the back of your bottom, and in your belly, front of your pelvis. Just an ease, they just switch on as you rock the pelvis. And then as the tailbone goes back, as if it's pointing behind you, you may feel how these muscles literally switch off. Kind of sense of being nowhere, there's no engagement. And for a lot of people in their nervous system, when there's stress or trauma, this is a posture, an alignment that the body finds itself in without even realizing it. So today, what we're looking at is, can you just tuck your coccyx, your tailbone, just under slightly, so you feel that effortless engagement in your buttocks and your belly. A little bit of engagement then around the femur bones of your quad muscles at the front of your legs and your hamstrings at the back of your legs, connecting with your glutes. The sense of your knees, keeping them beautifully engaged. So your hips are above your knees, your knees are above your heels. And then again, if you were just to very slightly bend your knees, can you feel the structures of the bones in your legs suddenly feeling so much more heavy and weighted? And then if you straighten your knees again, can you feel a sense of lightness and support and connectedness inside your body? There is always a sweet spot for your center of mass, where your body can feel light and engaged and present and aligned and upwards. It's just a case of finding it. And again, bending your knees, can you see when you cut out that alignment in your knees, do your legs become heavier? Is your upper body less supported? And then when you straighten your knees and have the tailbone very slightly tucked under, is it different in your body? Does it feel supported and connected? And again, there is no wrong or right. This is information. It's information that you can gain in your body, that you can feed back to me. And if you're not experiencing what I'm sharing with you, then that's fantastic research and self-assessment we do something with. So now what I'd like you to do is just a couple more rocks in your pelvis. And before we leave this area, I just want you with gratitude to observe and think about all the systems in your body that your pelvis is holding. We've got your bladder, got a womb, we've got digestion, we've got nerves, all of these systems being held by this pelvic bowl. And when the pelvic bowl isn't supported correctly, then the systems and the energy isn't supported correctly. And when we bring in a sense of engagement and connection, the nervous system and all the other bodily systems are left in peace to generate and do their jobs. And just real gratitude. You could maybe bring a hand to the front and the back of your pelvis. Take a couple of breaths into this area. With the knowledge that you can always come back. You're not going anywhere. You can check in whenever you want to come back to the support of the bones. And then I'd invite you to travel back down through your femur bones, into your knees, through your tibias and fibulas in your lower legs, into your heels and your ankles and those 26 bones in your both feet. And for a moment, just all those bones in both your feet and really feeling that relationship with the ground. Almost as if the ground is moving upwards into your feet to support them. So that again, your body almost becomes weightless because of that extraordinary support of the ground to all those bones. And then what I'd like you to do is just squeeze your feet, almost clawing the toes, really squeezing them and squeezing the fists and maybe squeezing your nose. And then I'd like you to open your eyes and really focus on something in your room that's right in front of you. Just orientating yourself back into the here and now, something you can see at 12 o'clock right in front of you. And then just have a look round towards where 3 o'clock on your right side would be. Again, just noticing something, its colour, its shape. And then looking round towards 9 o'clock and seeing something here. Just so we're orientating, we're coming back into the room, right into this moment. And here we are again. That journey into the body can be quite disorientating. So we have to reorientate into the here and now. Okay.
That was amazing. That was amazing.
Good. What was it like for you, Jehania?
You know, I really felt some of the joints in the feet, and I think, you know, as you walk, you forget about it, and some of them I even you know, just did a little bit of crackling, which is quite interesting. It seems like, you know, it's probably realigning itself, but you know, I think, you know, just thinking about it, focusing on it, just helped.
Could you feel it? Could you feel when you bent the knees? Could you feel the connection with the pelvis?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The pelvis tilt was hard. I had to
Okay.
use some of the muscles, but
Yeah.
it still, you know, you told me about that last time. So
Yeah.
I think that I could understand, and because my injury is somewhere nearby there, it wasn't the easiest, but I think I felt the other bones quite
So you could feel the potential. I mean, obviously we're at the beginning of working in your program, you know, but you can start to feel the potential, and that is reassuring for the nervous system. Yeah, that is like, oh, you know, it's a new habit. It's fantastic. Great. Katie, what was that like for you? Because you've never done anything with me before.
It was amazing. Halfway through, I felt a sort of pain in my right, I suppose, inside lower leg.
Okay.
Which I just went, you know, just let it, but it did stop. I found it really powerful when I held, really powerful. I really went into that. I noticed when muscles contracted to stabilize me for a second, but I found it amazing that we can move without using the muscles. I wasn't particularly able to visualize the bones. I could a bit, but it's something to work on.
Yeah, yeah. So could you feel the difference? Could you feel the quality of the support of the bones? So when you bent your knee, could you, and then straightened it?
Really, yeah.
Had you experienced that before?
No.
Okay, okay. This for you personally, I think is very powerful. I think there is an internal support, you know, just knowing what I know, that literally releases a whole other experience for the body. That's what was, you know, that's kind of what was shown up. And I mean, this is just a teeny weeny flavor of what we do. Okay, we haven't even moved. This is just literally standing still. Okay, so there's an extraordinary capacity for something very different to happen. Yeah, I think, as anyone who's done the process is fully aware of. Yeah. Jo, what was that like for you? Again, that's your first.
Yeah, I really liked the checking in with the bones of my feet, and I was surprised that they actually felt quite balanced. That was what came up for me in terms of, I was really surprised. I thought one would feel very different to the other, and they didn't. Anyway, so that's what I felt. And then I was definitely switched into bending and straightening the knees. I could feel the connections in my hips more than anywhere else, I'd say, especially in the sort of second part when you were talking about that. Yeah. And I felt a real discomfort or pain in my muscle in my left calf when I was doing that, and I was thinking, why is that hurting? So I was a bit distracted.
That's fine. It's because there's a rotation. There are so many different things at play. There are so many different things. So this really is just a starting. Let's make some notes. But you know, we understand. Believe me. And the Pilates, I'm saying the Pilates, the rocking of the pelvis, that usually feels really good. But I was just aware that there's a clicking going on. So again, because you have a rotation going on. Yeah, it's fine. So we have 3 planes of movement that our body is designed to move in: backwards and forwards. Yeah, kind of up and down like a seesaw, and rotating. So, you know, this really is, you've never done anything with me before. So you don't have any of that kind of internal navigation system going on. But it's great because it tells us where we need to work. Diana, how was that for you today?
Yeah, it was as usual. I just find these meditations, tuning in your body, really always very powerful. And actually I was really into it, and I thought we were going to go up to the spine. So when we went back down, I was like, no, like I'm, enjoying this too much. And actually it's funny because at the start of the session, so before we even started the tuning in, when we were just standing and starting to close our eyes, I realized I was in anterior tilt and put myself in posterior tilt. So I was already kind of really feeling very stabilized, very supported. And I was kind of realizing that when I was doing my pelvis or bending my knees in anterior tilt versus posterior tilt, what it was doing for my sense of weight and support.
That's great. So basically you have this incredible pelvis. What Diana's saying, having done a few sessions with me, your pelvis left and right. So you have your spine coming down, you've got your sacrum, your sacroiliac joint, and actually the pelvis is extraordinary because we only moved it as one unit today, but it has the capacity for the 2 sides of the pelvis to move in different directions, which is what's needed to walk and to move. And the sacrum is coming down in the middle of the back of the pelvis. So the sacral joint is there's so much power. for release, support, engagement. So Diana was wanting to, can we go up? But we didn't have time for that today, I'm afraid. We were, if you notice, we focused a lot on the lower body. We didn't speed up. Yeah. So Malasula, I know your video can't work. I don't know if your mic can work and you can just share how you are, or just pop in the chat that that doesn't work either, maybe, if you're still with us. Anyway, so that is a very simple check-in, okay, where suddenly we're in our body and experiencing it from a completely different perspective. Yeah, this isn't yoga, it's not Pilates, it's not personal training. Could you feel the power of those tiny movements and engagements? Could you feel your joints almost kicking off in terms of energy release? Yeah. So I describe the joints as like the locks of the body. And when we can get into tiny movements, there is an extraordinary amount of energy that can be freed up, yeah, which isn't freed up from muscles or anything to do with muscles, because the analogy I make is if you have a towel, yeah, to wring a towel, you know, when you want to get water out of it, you need a joint there, like a hand, and you need a joint there, yeah? If you just move one joint, you don't really get much effect, do you, in the wringing of the towel, okay? You need to be moving the other joint, okay? So if you imagine a muscle in a body, if one joint isn't moving correctly, and believe me, most people have a lot of joints not moving correctly, then the muscle actually can't engage correctly. And for a muscle to truly do its work, we call them agonists and antagonists. So we need to fully engage them like a spring, you know, like to compress a spring. You need to fully engage it, and then poof, it will release. Yeah. But even if you just do a little bit, again, you don't get that engagement. You don't get that dynamic kind of energy releasing and coming out. So what we do, not so much in this we start to bring you into your bones to understand the power of what's going on in your body. And then in the Get Into Your Body methodology, we are starting to wake up your biomechanics through correct alignment. Because again, if I've got one joint here of a towel and the other here, and they're not kind of directly aligned with each other, again, you won't get much. It's not very easy. Does that make sense? So all of this is the mechanics of the body. Yeah, no gadgets, no other person doing it for you. You tapping in to your connection, your alignment, your engagement, and starting to fathom out exactly what's going on. And as you do this, your nervous system kind of goes, thank God. Yeah, thank God you're finally coming in and letting us communicate and stack correctly and align correctly. And that is really where the power of this methodology comes in. And, you know, yeah. So any questions, because I know we need to finish. Any questions that anyone has? Katie, I know you have a client. If you need to clock off, that's fine. Thank you so much for visiting, and we can speak. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, any questions before we... Joe, you're going to stay on anyway. And
Yes.
we're going to have a chat. Johannia?
No,
You
it's
good?
great. Just wanted to say thank you. My lower
Yes.
body feels different than my upper body right now. So
Yes, and of course next week I promise we'll come up into the spine. All right, Dana, I promise, and we will. Next week what we'll do is we'll look at how does the spine come into that, okay, into that equation. Yeah, but I started from the feet today because we had new people, so I didn't want to speed up. I wanted to come back down. Okay, cool.
Thank you so much, Victoria.
That's a
Thank
pleasure.
you. Thanks
Oh,
very much.
Diana, it's a pleasure.
Thank you.
See you later then.
See you.
Okay, I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Bye.
Okay, Malasula, I'm going to, because I need to have a private conversation with Joe, so I'm not sure if you're there or not. So, yeah, okay.
There's just two dots at the bottom, so I guess that's just us, is it?
That's just us now, yeah, yeah.
We've become dots.
We've become, no, you can see me, can't you?
Yeah. Now I can
Yeah.
still see you.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just noticed that when one of the dots disappeared, that was somebody else leaving. That's all.
okay. Yeah, so there you go. That's a little taster, and that's not even the realignment. That is literally coming in and visiting your body.
Yes. Yeah, it was interesting. It was
Yeah.
definitely interesting.
So in terms of realignment, yeah, what have you been thinking since our conversation on Saturday?
Well, it's all just been sloshing around, but it's been front of mind, just because it's so recent, I suppose, and because I'm just so conscious of my body's strength, not strength deteriorating, but I'm really just concerned about the way my body feels. It doesn't feel good.
So what's happening with your body is it's like I didn't want to go into it there because with other people because
Yeah.
it's not appropriate. Oh, actually, I just need to stop this. Golly whiskers.